he came to the state, he talked about cutting Medicaid, Social Security through DOGE, bringing those issues up.
Actually, he never talked. He explicitly said in Green Bay that he would not cut Social Security.
Well,
that's exactly what he said.
He talked at his rallies.
No, other people said about that, but I was there. I watched him. Okay. He did not say he was going to cut Medicaid.
Other people at his rallies who work for DOGE, who work for Elon Musk's organization, talked about those issues.
No, I was at the rally. Not one of them said that. That's what protesters said, but nobody there actually said that.
Do you think that there are risks here?
There are. People believe the lies that people are saying about that. But that's not at all what they said.
That's Republican Governor Scott Walker fact-checking CNN host and second fiddle on her own show, Abby Phillip, over her blatant lies about Elon Musk and Trump coming for Social Security. Welcome to Nerk News. I'm Nerkish, and it looks like the pretend journalists and establishment media have been working overtime to push their newest liberal hoax about the Trump administration, that he and Elon Musk want to secretly gut Social Security. Which is funny because it's a point that he and his administration have repeatedly denied and explained in detail on supposedly objective news shows. Here's Scott Jennings' unofficial co-host getting absolutely owned because, unlike on her own show, she can't directly control the narrative.
If people believe that Medicaid and Medicare is going to be touched, that's just a flat outright lie. What he talked about are people who are over 120 years old, who clearly are not alive.
Well, the reason I brought it up is
Social Security or Medicaid.
Okay, well,
that's totally wrong. I think
just to sort this out, the reason I brought this up is because the claim here is that there's massive, widespread fraud and that's all they're addressing. That's obviously a disputed claim because it's not true that 120-year-old people are getting Social Security checks. The checks stop at a certain point automatically because those checks and balances
but those Social Security numbers get counted for various parts of the federal government. So they don't get a benefit directly to those people, but they count for money that gets allocated to different departments in their budget. And they shouldn't be. If somebody's no longer alive, they shouldn't be able to count that.
I guess my fundamental question was, what are the risks here of Elon dabbling in elections for Republicans going forward?
Well, again, I think in the end, he's going to have to continue to make the case. Part of the reason why when we talked about our recall, what flipped things for us early on in that recall process, Time magazine called me Dead Man Walker. And the reason was because all the narratives coming out from the press, coming out from the left, were about all these horrible, egregious things. Once we started to give examples of things we were actually doing, not the things the press said, not the things that our opponent said, but the things that we were actually doing, when we ended up going before the voters in the final election in the recall, we actually won by more votes than we did. So I think that what's paramount for him or anyone else aligned with him is keep giving actual examples of what they're doing. Set aside things like Social Security and make it abundantly clear that that's not being touched. But if there's waste, fraud, or abuse, spell it out, make the case, and bring it to the voters.
You know, it's really funny how Democrats have become so desperate that they've basically resorted to using Republican tactics from the Obama era to attack Trump on Social Security. And it frankly shows just how out of touch they are with the current political landscape, regular voters' opinions, and their views on media trustworthiness. I mean, I frankly used to be indifferent towards Phillip as a member of CNN, but it really seems like she's been trying to make a name for herself in the past year or so with her bias reporting, blatant propaganda, and repeated confrontations with conservatives.
You know, this seems to be kind of also another litmus test for how to be in MAGA world. I mean, is this the new reality for this MAGA era of politicians, that they don't back down when they're confronted with facts? It's clear as day. The FBI put out statistics. Crime is going down. You don't have to twist the facts.
The FBI quietly comes out with this new data that shows actually violent crime is up 4.5% during that time frame.
The only person making an accusation that people are not getting what they've asked for is Trump, falsely claiming that the administration is withholding resources because of political affiliation. That is just not true.
Well, the Federal Emergency Management Agency is facing major backlash after confirming reports that a supervisor ordered disaster relief workers to avoid homes with Trump yard signs.
There's actually not any evidence linking any of Hunter Biden's wrongdoings to Joe Biden.
You are incorrect.
You think that Biden would actually pardon Hunter Biden, despite him saying
Yes, as a father, he would.
No.
He's going to get pardoned by his dad. There's no question about that.
The president has ruled out pardoning his son.
Breaking news. President Biden has just pardoned his son.
You know, the real tragedy of Phillip is that Scott Jennings provided her a lifeline and an opportunity to salvage her career and learn something in the process. But she mistakenly saw that clips of her show were going viral and it was gaining traction for CNN and arrogantly thought that it had something to do with her. But in reality, the majority of that popularity was due to Jennings owning the panel. And sadly for her, most of the people watching couldn't recognize her if asked, and if they do, odds are they get her last name wrong. I mean, she should have viewed the growing popularity of her show as an opportunity to pivot and serve as a more impartial moderator instead of yet another voice yelling at Jennings or any conservative on her show in a sea of liberal panelists. But let me know what you think. At this point, is there a future for anyone on CNN besides Scott Jennings? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Boy!